Greetings, YouTube, friends, subscribers, colleagues, scientists, like-minded, all those on the greater endeavor for the greater good of humanity and more. We're having a special broadcast with Henny Kemner and Adam I Am, and the subject title today is "The World Is Yours." I thought it would be kind of appropriate considering everything that's going on today. So anyway, let me go ahead and fire this up real quick. Okay, gentlemen, we are live.
Hi. Hello.
All right. So,
just for the listeners out there, if Adam he sounds a little slurry, that's because he got to bed at 5 a.m. in the morning. So bear with him.
yeah.
Okay, hit it.
Yeah. So I know there's a lot of things that are going on, and we put an interesting title on this one, "The World Is Yours" live broadcast. I thought it'd be fitting considering that humanity is undergoing some stressful times right now with all this nuclear activity that's going on all over the world right now. So what do you guys have today? It's Friday, October the 7th, by the way. I don't think I announced that earlier, 2022. So now that we have that out of the way.
Well, I kind of have it like that with all this nuclear talk and whatnot. I know where we are in our timeline, and I'm at that point in my life and in my faith. I don't care. Whatever. Is this really the game they want to play and mushroom cloud everybody? Well, go ahead, have your day. You're not going to make it yourself either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just how it is. And I got this article from my wife the other day. That was actually yesterday. That all governments around the planet has bought up all the iodine tablets. And I talked to John about that, and he said, well, that ain't going to help. And I said, well, let them try. They might live 30 minutes longer.
Yeah, everybody knows that the whole thing is like this world stage, this giant, this game, all this politics, the just everything that's going on. That's just, it's all they're all in the club. They know what's going on. So, I mean, here's the thing. If something happens, right, one of these nuclear bombs go off anywhere, if, some nuclear facility collapses above ground, on the surface level where we are, they can have all the pills in the world that they want. But the bottom line is they can't outrun the time factor, because the radiation fallout is going to last longer than the pills are. So while you're going to buy some time to live for a while, it's not going to save you unless you can get to a place where there's absolutely no radiation. And if you're living in a big city or something like that, where the fallout would be, or where any of the nuclear reactors would be, it's just not going to happen. So, and if you're going to want to travel and go somewhere else, you're going to have to go somewhere where there's not a civilization or a world, and then are you going to be able to plant your own food and grow it in time to be able to survive those conditions wherever you decide to flock to? So, it's the people that are buying up all of these resources while they may be fighting the war, they're still not seeing the reality that, hey, once the bomb really goes off, I'm not going to survive that after I run out of my pills. I mean, they're probably still not even going to survive it if they do have pills, because, everybody's body, once they ingest iodine, is going to react differently. And some people, if they take iodine and they've never taken it before, they could be poisoned from it, or they could have an immediate reaction from it. So in fact, anytime you're dosing with iodine, those are always the types of warnings that you see with something like iodine. So, you know, so, but it won't
Well,
be pretty. No matter how you look at it, it will not be pretty.
well, you shouldn't take iodine over daily value.
Yeah.
Then it becomes poisonous to you.
Oh, of course it does. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everything in the right amount. The same goes with magnesium, potassium, and iron. You should not exceed the daily value of doses. That will actually be toxic to you. It can kill you over time.
Yeah.
It can even turn into anti-cells, meaning cancer. So people need to be aware they can't just pop everything into themselves and think, oh man, I'm going to get real good now. That's not the case. It never was the case. Everything in its right amount, then you're on the safe side.
Yeah. Well, like right now, like we have a high concentration of, we have a very high metal diet, with all
Yeah.
with all of the, with all the aluminum, barium, and strontium raining down out of the skies daily. Like, we're pretty much designated metal eaters at this point.
Well, the good part about the human body, again, that we are a perfect machine. That is, we are able to withstand those changes for a very long time. Where plants and insects, especially, are suffering from it. And I mean trees too. Well, that's plant. That's our flora. They're suffering greatly from all this metal toxicity we have in our atmosphere. And man, did I have a barrage of chemtrails yesterday. I have a video on my channel about it called I Love Chemtrails. Oh man, that was a nightmare to look at that. That's 2 days in a row that they've been out hammering the skies.
Yeah.
So they're brewing something.
Yeah, you can see that they're doing that very heavily right now, and it looks like a giant milk bowl outside right now.
Yeah, I woke up to overcast, and I talked to my wife this morning, and she says it's sunny in Fort Worth. Well, I just passed Temple, Texas, going north, coming into Waco here in 20 miles, and as far as my eyes can see, it's still overcast, completely white. It's not pretty, but at least I'm not being baked.
Yeah.
I sit in a semi-truck for 14 hours a day pretty much and being cooked by the sun. And I can feel something different with the sun, speaking about that. That is, even if I have my AC running on full blast, I am still being cooked. And the other day, I talked to John about that. I was sitting somewhere in Oklahoma, shut down, and was sitting and watching YouTube videos, and all of a sudden, it felt like someone put a warm rice bag from the microwave on my neck, and it was only my neck, and it was hot. And it felt like I could feel where the beam of heat came from. It was directional. And I was just thinking, what the heck is going on with that? Everything around me is cold, but I can feel this kind of like, almost like a soft wind blowing hot air on my neck, only my neck. And it was very unpleasant, and I did not know what to do about it. That was so weird.
Yeah, so I, after that, okay, well, first let me just back up a little bit and rewind. So last Saturday and Sunday, there was a really big geomagnetic storm event, and it was huge, and it spanned like 25% of the Earth or more. And in the zone between America and China, over the ocean, as the world was turning, that large radius, that impact zone was just moving across everything. But when I checked the SolarHam and the space weather monitors, where you can actually view the plasma density of that energy that we were getting hit with, that dense plasma energy, we actually were swimming through an enormous amount of dense particle matter. So that's the difference. The difference being, if you had to visualize it, is swimming in a lake that is completely brown and you can't see it versus swimming in, like a clear ocean front where when you look down at the water, you can see the sand that you're walking on. It was pretty dense. It was dense, like being in, like a dirty lake or something. And that particle matter is just going through everything. That radio, microwave particle matter is just going through everything, and it's hitting everything. And so it's affecting everybody in all kinds of ways. And I think, so what I was recording is, things that were still ongoing from that bombardment of particles that were going on. So like I stated, before, it's like, we don't have a way, because we're not the ones in the facilities where all the high-tech, high-grade equipment is, to measure that. But one thing you can't outrun is that microwave detection meter. And when it's being pelted by those microwaves, it's moving that physical meter. So I mean, you're being shot with something, and we're all feeling that. So, like where I was feeling a very strong impact as, we were at just the right time of day. If you look in what everybody's been responding on it, everybody's responses have been pretty much on par with like what all of us have been describing. And that is, they can feel something isn't right, or they, feel nauseous, or they feel, even the symptoms that you're describing, like you're feeling like, the symptoms like on the back of your neck or your head, or you're just feeling worn out, or all of a sudden you just get tired out of nowhere because your body is working overtime to process that enormous amount of energy that those frequencies that we're being dosed with. So
it's actually radiation, John.
Yeah, I know. I know.
That's not healthy. That's accumulative.
Yes.
That's the problem, and that's why those pills don't help a damn thing, because it's accumulative. It doesn't matter how many you eat, you will still accumulate radiation in your bloodstream and into your cells.
Right.
Another thing, when you're talking about that, I'm in Lorena now, just south of Waco. It's completely overcast here, and it's 87 degrees. Can that have something to do with the particulate storm that we are receiving from the sun right now? Because it shouldn't be this hot.
I have not checked the monitors today, but we are still getting, like eruptions from the different sunspots on the different active regions. But if you look at the amount of reflectivity operations that are going on with the geoengineering to reflect that radioactive particle matter back out into space, you can tell when they're working.
Yeah, but it's also reflecting it back again. That which is coming in is not escaping, because they have turned the Earth's atmosphere into a thermal bottle.
Yeah, right. So, and we've had those discussions like plenty of times, right? Like there's the amplification factor, right? So as that stuff is falling down and the air outside is becoming more dense, like, like we've talked about several times, you can go outside at night and you can look with a flashlight, you can see all of that gray material that's floating around. It's, that during the day is acting nothing more than like millions upon millions of tiny little mirrors reflecting that heat somewhere or those particles somewhere. It's just bouncing off of it and being reflected somewhere.
I want to
So-
do a recording this weekend with these particulates with a very bright flashlight and see if I can pick it up on the camera, and then I'm going to upload it so you can see it with your naked eye. You're literally bathing in it. You're in for an eye opener. Yeah. I noticed that in Indiana. Up in Indiana, when I lived there, they are particularly spraying up in that area. Michigan, the trees are dying like, on conveyor belt. It was shocking. They're just dying off.
Well, there's another, there's some other things that I've been noticing when it's been raining in Dallas, is that I've been noticing the last couple of times that it's rained, that the particles that have been sitting like on window surfaces or metal surfaces have been much more thicker and sticking together and clumping together much harder, meaning that like if you go like, I don't know, you go to a car wash and you try to spray off the material, it's a little bit harder to get it off now. It's almost like they've changed the formula or something, or maybe there's something else falling out of the sky with it. So, I mean, I don't really, have a way to test that, but I'm sure somebody's got to be looking at that and, factoring that into the equation of things.
Well, they do use other particulates than just the metals. They're also using fillers, because that adheres to the ice crystals, and they're particularly using them if they want to have rain or snow precipitation. And that's tiny fibers of plastic that they're spraying into the clouds, and they're coated with something that bonds the water molecules to each other so they become heavy and drop. And then they do it in a combination of blasting flares into the clouds to, what are they called, glacic clouds, to make them grow exponentially. And then they finish it off with some silver oxide, and then it starts raining. And depending on how much silver oxide they are putting into the cloud will determine how many inches of rain you get. So maybe they did that in Dallas that day, where Dallas almost got drowned in a very short period of time a couple of weeks ago. It was pretty bad. I don't know, but that's what I could imagine. Why would it be focused only on Dallas?
Yeah, that's like stimulation. Yeah, they're helping to stimulate the coverage.
Yeah. Okay.
So
my father.
go ahead.
My father-in-law and my wife. Monday, my father-in-law, he was very, very ill. We were afraid that he got COVID or something. And Tuesday, my wife did not feel good at all. She had the same symptoms, and then it went away. Now they're peachy.
Yeah, so that's on the days that was actually on the day like when we were reporting all of this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's been a very large percentage of people in the population talking about the same stuff, the same conditions, the symptoms. In fact, a lot of people that I know, like personally, I was right on par with what I was saying. Like some people, they experience the effects like a day or two after I feel them. But some people, they're able to process the energy better than others. But then, later, then all of a sudden they just lose all of their energy or something. They just get zapped. And so I think everybody is riding this wave of strong energy that we're being pelted with. So, but the problem is like, what are we going to see? Like, you already see something like where Paul Begley is doing his shows, and he is stating that his whole church, his congregation, is being flooded. Like, and he's got a big following, right? He's saying that his whole congregation is being flooded with nothing but cancer stuff right now, and
with what?
With cancer. Like, everybody's just turning up with cancer like left and right.
That.
Yeah, and now.
Yeah, that's radiation.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, the whole thing is cancer just doesn't come from nowhere. It's cumulative, and
exactly.
The problem is how do you get an open forum to like talk about something like this? It's very complicated animal. It's something that's it's something that's completely invisible. You can't see it. It's like this. It's kind of like the whole viral situation right now. Like, you're fighting an invisible enemy that you can't see, but the difference being scientifically is that everybody is already noticing the effects that the sun has changed, and they're noticing the effects that the feeling on their skin, the feeling in their bodies, but that's this high dosing situation that's been going on. So, the body is fighting battles from every position imaginable. You have like, high concentrations of, cell, microwave cell. You have high concentration of microwave inundation from the sun and the solar activity. And then, I think this past year, they finally came out and stated that now there are atmospheric anomalies where we're having rifts that are opened up that's allowing even more of the radiation to get through. So the protective barrier of the Earth is less, it's weakened. So now the risk factors are more increased. And then if you look at the heightened UV scores, like if you look at the indexes, they're through the roof.
Oh, that is detrimental to anything organic.
Yeah,
that stuff is dangerous.
Yeah, so on my wall, the day that the geomagnetic storm event was happening, like I posted up on my wall, because Michael, the day after so many people were having the experiences, including myself, like he posted up the aftermath of that event. So he posted up the event that we went through, but the details that he left out were, when you're actually looking at the monitor and you're looking at the plasma density as the band of plasma is swathing through the Earth, that energy, that sea of plasma, doesn't just go through everything and it's gone. It takes a couple of days for it to finish, for us to finish swimming through it. So, that's about the best way I can describe it. It's not just gonna just go away once it hits us. We're still swimming through that really thick cloud of particles. And,
So who's Michael? Is that Mr. MBB?
Yeah, that's Mr. MBB333.
Okay.
But I posted that. I posted that data drop that he put up there on my wall, and there is also the Higher Truth channel Rises. He's been putting out stuff too, but everybody's been sounding the alarm, like on the particle saturation increases, the solar storm, the atmospheric anomalies, just look, like the volcanic activity that's happening. It's not just, all happening on its own. It's because of the conditions are being set up through natural processes from what's happening between the sun and the Earth, and the friction from the particles are heating up the elements. I mean, think about it. If it's heating up your skin, if it's heating up your body, if you're experiencing what it feels like to be microwaved or cooked from the inside out from this stuff, imagine what's happening to the elements on the inside of the earth as they're heating up and it's igniting something like a fire or a volcano or something. Like, whatever is affecting you is affecting something else in that chain of objects and items. So
So what is causing these rifts in our atmosphere? Is that the sun interaction, or is it man-made?
Since I don't hold a high-ranking position like some of the other people do, I'm just going to give you my response to that, and that is there's no transparency.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah. What we'll get so far is every time
just
there's
keep focused on Putin, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And now Hunter Biden.
Yeah. So it's
distractions.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's one big charade. What men do is just one big theater. I'm actually more worried about the elements.
So do we have like some members jumping in and making comments? All of us want to say hi to everybody that's popping in the chat, by the way.
Yeah, hi, welcome.
Yeah.
Listen up.
Listen up.
Listen up.
So, I think like the biggest thing is, I think every time like we see those giant mushroom clouds in the sky, I'm starting to really honestly believe that is an indication of where the rifts actually are occurring. So like those times you recorded from your city and your town where you were, and I was here in Dallas, and we had that giant nuclear looking cloud that just appeared out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, it appeared out of nowhere. Just there it was.
Right.
I've been out half an hour earlier walking the dogs, and then my wife goes out in the garden and say, "Hey, come here and look at that cloud." And it was just like, what the heck? Where did that come from? It was just there.
Right. I'm starting to like form like a theory on that, and I'm starting to believe that when you're seeing that's actually where a rift is opening up. And
so is that a vacuum created by that?
I don't know. Like if I had like all of the equipment to test to prove whether or not the theory is sound and correct or not, like I would do it. But my assumption is if you were taking readings like where you're seeing that activity, you should be able to see at the top of the peak where the event is occurring if there's higher radioactive levels up at that altitude, where the peak of the crests are of those clouds, right? So because look at the color conditions, look at the colors of the clouds when that's happening. You get like green and purple and red. I mean, you get some interesting colors up there when that activity is occurring. And we've captured it on film in high definition so many times that it's unbelievable to see it with the naked eye. It's like, it's a beautiful sight, but at the same time, like it's a very dangerous condition that's forming. So
yeah, when you see green in the sky, that's a warning. Something bad is about to happen weather-wise. I remember many years ago I was in Spain, Barcelona, with my brother, and we were down by Christopher Columbus' museum ship. It was not his real ship, but a replica. And all of a sudden, we saw people start to run. And I was thinking, why are they starting running? And then I looked up at the sky, and the sky just turned green, and momentous clouds just formed. And next thing was we had marble to golf ball size hail coming down from the sky out of bloody nowhere. Like just poof. It happened within 2 or 3 minutes. From the color change to the hail came. And we ran. Like the others, we ran. And when it was all over, down from the mountain, from FC Barcelona Stadium, that mountain it sits on, there was 1 foot of water running down through the streets into the hall. It was just insane. I never experienced anything like it. It was just crazy. And then I finally come to America, starting out living in Indiana. I'd never seen thunderstorms being in Denmark, where I come from. They just kind of like poof, right? Oh, it's pretty. So then I came over here. I was kind of like, what the heck? What the heck is that? Wow, man. It's just insane. So there's far more electricity over here than there is in Europe. Because when it goes off here in America, it's freaking going off. It's like kaboom. Fireworks.
You know, speaking of electricity, yeah, that whole situation is getting out of control itself too. Like, have you noticed that in all of the media news now, they're pumping blackouts, and you know, they got to cut the power to the grids, and they got to conserve power, you know, all these things that they got to do. And we're not even in winter yet, and we're not even like experiencing a crazy summer, and especially in Dallas, we're not having crazy temps like 120 now. It's like, you know, it's starting to get down to the like 80s, and at night it's been getting like 68, 67 degrees. But you know, they're doing these power cuts and saying they need to conserve. You know, then you see like already like where they ramped up coal mining. So you know, just nothing makes any sense at all, period. But here's the thing, right? I got to be a little bit careful about what I talk about the you know, the energy stuff, because like, you know, these guys are kind of pretty much after me right now for the stuff that I've been discussing on the free energy stuff. So, but here's the bottom line. The bottom line is that we've already cracked the code, you know, like on Nikola Tesla and his patents, and we've already put the plans out for everybody to be able to assemble devices that can power things with what's called over unity. So it's pretty much a game changer, and every time we show this technology to somebody, they go a little crazy, and they get a little upset, or they get angry, because they're seeing very quickly that this whole thing with electricity, they're being lied to. And there's a guy.
That's because there's no profit in it. It's a one-time purchase of a Tesla coil, and then you have energy for a lifetime, and future generations too, for thousands of years for free. No moving parts, no oil is needed, no oil change is needed, no new tires, nothing. It just suck it right out of the atmosphere, and it's endless. It's forever. So that's why they don't want this technology. That's why they're suppressing it like this, is because there's no money in it.
Right. So you've got like this large community that exists out there that have everybody's been working on all of this technology for a while. But really what's happening is that you've got hundreds, if not thousands of people who are basically just rediscovering the stuff that has always been there and already existed. It was just hidden by, government and, people in power. But so many people now have already discovered that it's real, and they're, building this stuff and they're sharing it. But some people that are very well educated, who have, electrical engineering degrees, can't get their head wrapped around why some of the stuff is working, or why it is the way that it is, and some of them go insane. In fact, one of the guys that I posted on my wall the other day, he got some of the information on the devices that we've been telling people about. And he put it together, he constructed it, and he saw that it's not a joke. It's like, it's real, it's the real deal. And he got like so angry that, he just expressed himself. Now, everybody that's, seeing that, what they don't understand is that for a lot of people, that have been, lied to, everybody's going to process that information on a different level. And that's how he processed, he just handled it the best that he could. Now he's like, well, what do I do now that I know that it's real? He put together a flow on how he could help people, and then he published, the same thing that we've all been publishing, So the bottom line is hopefully the information, it'll spread faster. And then people, we won't have to have this perpetuated fear like they're doing right now today, where they're saying we're having blackouts. We're not going to be able to produce any power or electrical, power during summer or winter.
Of course they are.
Yeah, it's nonsense,
It's nonsense.
And, if, one day I'll eventually, hopefully I'll have a chance to where, I can pull together a bunch of these.
Initiated this sequence recently. As Henry Kissinger once said, if you control the energy, you control the nations. If you control the food, you control the people. And now initiating an attack on the energy to control the nations. And next following, with all the fertilizer plants and food distribution centers and produce and whatnot, is going up in flames all over the planet. So that's how I see it. It's pretty simple. It's exactly as he said, and it's being carried out right now.
Yeah, so I mean, like, what we're up against, it's pretty huge because we're dealing with something that changes everything for the greater good, like, of humanity. So it's a pretty big thing.
I say they're calling the people now. Not calling, but calling.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, they're going for the kill now. And they are determined.
Yeah, because now, like, the raised consciousness factor, the heightened awareness factor has increased, and people have become more intelligent and smarter. And now the processing of the technology and the information is at a much faster rate. So everybody who's getting this information, no matter what side of the world they're on, will
You can't talk about that, John.
Yeah.
I'm just going to turn into a narcissist because of that, because I am getting smarter.
Yep.
Is Adam still with us? Did he fall asleep now?
He's been a little silent. Where you at, Adam?
Huh. He fell asleep.
Yeah.
That's a shame. Well, I hope he's listening.
Well, let me see. Like, I don't think he dropped off here. No, he's still there.
No, I think he fell asleep. That's what I said. He needs to go to bed at a decent time. He needs at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day.
Yeah. He's got to be, in that ringer of
Yeah.
processing all that energy.
Yeah, we need to stay sharp. So I remember you were doing that video. I was sitting and watching it live. That you had these rotating motors or whatever it was, and you rotated it very fast with a low voltage, and you made a contact and then a short, and then a contact and a short in a very rapid speed, and you had an enormous power output to that. I remember sitting and watching that. I was just fascinated. Wow, how the hell can you do that? You put nothing in and you get a whole different ball game out of the other end. You can drive a whole house with that little device.
Yeah, so there was a guy by the name of Joseph Newman. I mean, there's so many people that have already demonstrated and done the same things. But somebody was asking me the other day, like, hey, like, why did you remove like all of your energy content stuff? Well, here's the problem. This is what I want all my viewers out there to understand, is that I'm not the first guy to demonstrate this stuff. But all of the major icons of people recently, this past few years, those individuals who demonstrated the same things that I'm demonstrating, they were all attacked. They were all, trying to let the people know that they were under attack. And it wasn't a joke. And every single person has been falling dead left and right who comes out and discusses this stuff. So, hey, like, I came forward, I demonstrated something, I talked about it, I could be gone tomorrow, but I'm going to be just like them. Well, hey, I came out, I talked about something, but there's no guarantee that I'm going to be here tomorrow after like talking about this stuff. But, the phenomenon is real. The stuff that's happening is real. But, it's a giant game. Like, even if I were to be taken out for sharing my knowledge, on this stuff, it's not going to matter, because 100 more people who downloaded this information and who experimented with it and sees the reality of the results, that's all that matters, So
yeah, they can't stop it, but they can try and intimidate.
Yeah.
By telling people, hey, it would be a shame if your mother's house burned down.
Yeah, exactly. It's stuff it's real, and it's actively happening. So
yeah, I believe it.
But yeah.
I could have my father-in-law build me a Tesla coil. He's a genius when it comes to electronics and electricity. That's his whole life. He can build a Tesla coil, but as soon as I turn that Tesla coil on, the electricity company will notice that I no longer have an electricity bill. I'm not consuming any electricity on their grid. Then I will have a knock on my door. Hey, what's going on? We see you have lights on. How is that even possible? You're not using any electricity from our network. And then you tell them, okay, I have a Tesla coil in the backyard. Well, then you're going to get in handcuffs, and then you're going to get a steep fine. Because they want their money, no matter what. You can't live off the grid.
Yeah, I was explaining.
Unless you want to live in the forest.
Yeah, I was explaining to Adam the other day that the technology, the simplicity of it's pretty simplistic, right? To the point like where it's like this. So they have all these patents that they put, and they made all these patents for, like Tesla, right? But the patents, they wrote them in a way to where they're complex, and they took certain things out of the patents, so you don't understand how to actually build the true working device that, let's say, or we would assume that's self-perpetual, right?
Yeah.
So psychologically, they destroyed everybody's mental clarity of perceiving what's fact, versus, well, what's fiction from nonfiction. And they left certain components out so that you couldn't see the reality in some things. So today, outside of the Joseph Newman stuff that, like, I've talked about and demonstrated, is you have Nikola Tesla, right? And Nikola Tesla, he had all of his pancake coils and he had all of his patents and his designs that had certain things that were left out. But you've got individuals like Inky, Igor. There's so many people that I know that have all demonstrated what the missing elements were in all of the patents. And as long as you know where to go plug in the pieces into the patent at certain locations of each of the designs, then you can get the real working perpetual over unity that you're seeking with any of these electrical devices. And that is what everybody is discovering now. Inky's been putting it out. Igor's been putting it out. This other gentleman that I just posted on my wall, he is now putting it out. The stuff that I sent away because, of my situation, like, I just had to do what I had to do. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to leave this stuff alone for a while and just tap out and just focus on some things with my life right now. But the bottom line is that everybody is seeing it. More people are getting the information. They're seeing the secrets. And they're seeing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that all of this stuff that they're perpetuating, can be resolved at the end of the day. And, everybody can have access to this power, this electrical energy, this technology. That's where things are headed,
Yeah.
I don't foresee it staying like this for too much longer.
Technologically inclined, even though there is missing bits and pieces in those patterns, it will be easy for them to figure out what is needed to be put in so this device can actually work.
Right. So really all it is it's just like a puzzle, right? But we've put all of those missing pieces out there so people can assemble them pretty fast. And here's the thing. So what I was explaining to Adam the other day was, on top of this, was what's going to happen now that everybody is getting to see that it's real, is we may have the factor of where they may say something as simple as this: you're not allowed to buy certain things and wind up your own coil of wire. Let's say you're not allowed to get a stick, and you're not allowed to take a piece of wire and wind it around the stick 10 times. That is now against the law. I can foresee, if they really want to stop people from having something free, like free electricity, that it's going to get that insane, because the simplicity of making these devices are pretty much that simple. If you wind coils of wire in a certain fashion, in a certain order, and you put capacitors on these arrangements in a certain order and a certain magnitude, that you can achieve what Nikola Tesla did, is self-resonance, and you can get unlimited energy potential. And what we have all demonstrated is 10 or 20 kilowatts worth of electrical energy out of nothing. And when you see that, it's hard to process it. But what you're thinking is, well, man, like, how do I reveal this to everybody? And people are like, well, you need to patent that technology. Well, you can't patent something that's already been patented. I mean, well, all we're doing is we're just, coming back to the beginning of the circle where somebody already figured it out, and we're reproducing what somebody has already designed, like Nikola Tesla. But everybody thinks that because however many years have passed, since Nikola Tesla was around, or some other person, that now that they are the ones who have magically come up with the solution. And that's not the reality. The reality is that all of the people before us, like these great electrical inventors, already came up with the patents and the circuits and the designs to do all of these things. It's just that us experimenters are following in their footsteps to figure out what those secrets and missing components were to achieve, what they came up with historically. And that's what's happening today, is that everybody is rediscovering those secrets, and that, that this whole thing with the electrical energy stuff, it's such a farce. But how do we start putting together, like, organizations or groups of people to come up with something to where we can actually help people without being under attack by, the federal government or whatever. And then you're looking at the factor that the federal government wants to have the technology for themselves, but that's such a scam in itself, because they already have the working technology. They've got, technology that's, hundreds, if not thousands of years ahead of the curve beyond like what we're doing. But,
Yeah, and even if they release that technology to the public, you would still have to pay a monthly fee on it.
Yeah.
Because they need the money.
Yeah, and what
they can't function without the money.
Right. So let me tell you a story. So there's a gentleman his name is Thane Hines, and he's in Canada, and I spoke with him, and he put out a Region X motor, and that motor, the way he was able to patent it, because it's self-perpetuating, it is a perpetual motor. And you may be saying, well, they won't allow, and I know this because of Joseph Newman, okay? They won't allow that to be patented. So Thane Hines was in the same situation. So Thane Hines was able to come up with some wording around quantum energy, using certain select key phrases to say, that these things are powered by quantum energy, and therefore he was able to get his quantum motor, which is a self-perpetual machine, a motor, to be patented, and he was able to successfully do that. So he was able to do something that Joseph Newman couldn't do. But Joseph Newman wanted to focus on the fact that the perpetual motion aspect of things was real. And they tried to destroy him and make him, look bad. I mean, everybody knows the story. Everybody that's been following me for a long time knows that we all know what the story with that is. And they have tried to destroy everybody's personality, just everything about them when they come out and they're demonstrating the truth to somebody. And it made him angry. Just like this gentleman that I posted on my wall, he was extremely angry, once he made the discovery. And that happens. It happens to a lot of people. Initially, like when I first started my channel in science and energy, I was a little upset because I was like, well, what's the problem? Everybody's complaining all the time that they're having, nobody can have clean drinking water. Nobody can have energy in all these third world countries, or and I was like, well, that's it. It's really a lot of BS, because we have technology that can help everybody, but why they're not sharing it with everybody? Well, we know the reason for that, but that's the battle that all of the people in the free energy community are facing every day, is that they need help from the rest of the world to get on board with the fact that we have technology, but we have people that are fighting to prevent the release of that technology. And all you see in media all day long is the same thing. It's that we have energy crisis. We don't have fuel. We don't have food. We don't have water. We oh no, we're in a drought. We can't get any water. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it just comes back to the system that's electrical that makes all of this possible. If you have electricity, you can produce light. And if you have light, you can grow food. If you have electricity and you have enough of it, you can desalinate water, and therefore you can have clean drinking water. So, and if people want to say, well, how can we have transportation? Well, if you have a miniature power supply that can power up everything, well, then therefore you can power up these vehicles like these Tesla vehicles or any electrical vehicle that you can redesign or re-engineer an electrical component in, and then you can self-power it with something like the Region X motors that are now patented, that Thane Hines created, that are in Canada. So all this stuff that they want to tear everybody up, and make them think that we're running out of everything. It's a farce. That's not the truth. I mean, the reality is that we really do have the technology. We just don't have any ambassadors to represent anybody to change the industry or the field in a manner that will benefit everybody in the end, whether they're on the bad side of the fence or the good side of the fence. And somebody needs to be appointed to help with that. And then if they're appointed, they need to have the transparency to openly show what's actively being done. And I mean, they need to not just show that to politicians. They need to show that to the actual people, that there is an action item that's actually being worked on, and they need to be able to see that with full transparency so that the people can rest assured that, whatever money that they're spending and like all these taxes and these budgets actually get applied and used for what they say they're being used for, and not just something that somebody sits on and, there's just no action being taken. But that's kind of like
I think it all comes down to, if there's no profit, they're not going to release any of that kind of technology to anybody. And it will also require something else, and that is abolishment of the establishment we have already. These rhinos sitting in Washington, D.C. and determining the people's future, they need to go.
Yeah. So let me focus on what you just said right there. So if there's no profit, they're not going to do it, right? So, I mean, when I talked to Thane Hines in Canada, this is what he told me that the Canadian government and his government is doing, right, with the release of this technology. What they planned is they planned on using the Region X systems to phase out all of the nuclear power facilities. And what those power systems would do is they would self-generate power, and they would introduce these systems into the grids, the existing grids, and then people would just continue to pay for that energy the same way that they do in today's society. So it's not that they're going to run out of energy, it's just that they're changing how they're producing that energy, which is, it's a fair thing, right? Like, I mean, like if you think about the amount of things that you're going to affect, once you build a device like that, it's going to be huge across the board, but they have to transition everybody into that new change. And that's the way that they're approaching it, is that they're introducing those new perpetual systems in to replace that energy instead of the nuclear stuff. But they're going to, use the same pricing models for charging energy. But think about what I'm saying. It goes against, it's already going against what I'm saying, which is if people build the smaller devices, then nobody has to pay for anything. They can just quite simply just build these devices. They can have them, and then they don't have to pay for anything. But, you know, I guess there's going to be a day when we're going to get to that point, but that's not like where we're at yet. But that's kind of like just envision the future of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, nuclear energy is very efficient and so on, but there is too many risk factors associated with using nuclear power. Something can go wrong, right?
Yeah.
With the cooling tanks. And then there's this disposal of the radioactive material, the waste material. That is a huge problem. Where I know back in the 80s and 90s, France, they just took these drums, oil drums, and put the radioactive material in it, and then they encased it in cement, and then they dropped it out in the Atlantic. And now the cement has dissolved because of the salt. And now the oil drums are rusting because of the salt. And guess what? We got nuclear waste material floating around in the Atlantic Ocean. Out of sight, out of mind, right? But the problem is still there. It's not going away, the radioactivity. The half-life, like in Fukushima, the half-life of the MOX fuel is 240,000 years. That means no one for at least 5 million years can approach the waste product of the MOX fuel. That's the kind of stuff we're dealing with, and it's absolutely absurd that we are doing something like that. It's madness. We can be happy that Fukushima was located by the ocean. Let's just say the nuclear power plant in Ohio at Ohio River, that will be close to Cincinnati, right? If that was running on MOX fuel and something went seriously wrong, look about how many people that have been affected by that. We're talking a couple of millions. And they would die from it.
Yeah.
That stuff is a no-no.
Yeah. So that's one of the greatest things about everybody that, went on the endeavor of the whole rediscovery of the energy technology was, all of these individuals, including myself, like there's this passion to, do something that is cleaner, safer, and will just benefit like everybody, And it's not, at the end of the day, it's not about, I think at the end of the day, it's just about, trying to keep things in a harmonious balance. But I don't know. Everything, there's a battle that we got to fight no matter where we go. There's a left and there's a right, and there's an up and a down. So.
And it all comes down to the money.
Yeah.
That's the big problem. It's all about the money. And Jesus was right. He said money is the root of all evil. Because it is. If they can't make a profit of it, they won't allow it. Period. Because someone has to pay their paycheck, right? That will be you and me. And the rest of America have to pay their paycheck.
Yeah.
And what are they doing for us? They're taking us to war, right? They develop Charlie 109, and again here about profit, that is, there are numerous of different products that could mitigate and neutralize, right? But they had to administer Charlie 109, period, and everything else got banned because the other stuff, that would be a profit, but it wouldn't be that gigantic. But Charlie 109, we're talking $1 billion industry, billions of dollars. And all of those who went aboard with this Charlie 109, they're filthy rich now.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like my thought on that is that just like that story that YouTube keeps on running about the man that accidentally killed the most people in the world, yeah, whoever is responsible for that is going to be named that person or a group of them, I'm sure, one day soon. So we're going to see that again.
Well, it's been talked about that the Spanish flu was actually a manufactured disease.
Well, I mean, just think about it. Like everything that they're doing, it's manufactured. I mean, think about this. I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove it to you, like a case in a point. Just go out on the internet and look at every science article where they said, oh, we went to Antarctica, or oh, we went to Alaska, and we dug up some ice cores that contain these viruses and bacteria from the Cretaceous period. Well, guys, why are you taking all of that and working on it and experimenting it in these biolabs? You're not doing it because you want to. Yeah, you're not doing it because you want to like cure somebody of something. You're weaponizing it. I mean, and that's.
We do have a major problem that is not man-made.
Yeah.
And that problem is going to prove itself very soon. I know they want to claim that the reason for why we have climate change, which is the new term, let's just call it global warming for everybody who is a little older. The Earth is heating up from the inside because of the influx from the sun and the cosmic rays and a weakened magnetic sphere. That in turn heat up the core of our planet, and that is heating up the surface temperature. And right now, in Siberia, the permafrost is melting, and down there in the permafrost is methane. And methane is 100 times more potent a greenhouse gas than CO2 in a period of 10 years. You talk about methane getting into the atmosphere, talk about it's going to get bloody freaking hot because it's a greenhouse gas of proportions. Not only that, all these bacteria and vira there is in the permafrost is going to be released into the environment. What could possibly go wrong here? Imagine that. You created the perfect environment for bacteria and virus to flourish, and that is by having a higher temperature in our atmosphere and surface temperatures. They thrive on an equilibrium. What is 37 degrees Celsius? What is that in Fahrenheit?
It's pretty high.
Yeah. So just by having a temperature of 37 degrees Celsius, these bacteria and viruses, they keep growing because the permafrost is melting. It's not freezing over. So it's being released into the environment. Period. There's no way around that. Because the permafrost is melting. So there's no way of stopping it. This is I would say, well, what's going on with our environment is a runaway train. There's no way we can mitigate that, not even with the green religion. It cannot be mitigated. This is not us. It is our environment that is doing this. It's a cycle. And everything is cycles. Like we have a 7-year economical cycle that affects the stock markets every 7th year.
Yeah.
And the Earth is running through cycles too, climate changes, like ice ages, like hot periods. And the worst part of it already now, that is, our sun is now in a solar minimum. It's coming out of it now. slowly. But have you seen the activity and the sunspot activity there is on the sun surface? That is unheard of in a solar minimum, but it's there, like it's a maximum. And it's actually on steroids in a minimum period.
Yeah. So,
to the sun.
Yeah, you can
John,
see that the
we can
intensity.
just look to the sun and see the result ourselves. It's that simple.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
really that simple.
Yeah, you can pretty much just feel it when you go out in certain times of the day. So,
yeah. I mean, even in the wintertime, when I'm outside, even if the air is cold and we are down in the 50s, the sunlight itself is hot. The infrared radiation coming from the sun is hot, but it's not hot enough to heat up and make it into a summer period. But the infrared radiation that is bombarding us, which is particulates also, they're heating up the Earth's crust. And even though we have winter, they're still melting off the ice because microwaves is heat. Infrared is microwaves. It's heat. And what does heat do? That's energy. And what does energy do? It affects everything it touches. And energy never goes away. It just transforms into another form of energy. So it's always present. It never goes away. It's endless. It's forever. Still energy.
Stand by for 1 second. I need just one moment. Maybe see if you can wake up Adam. Hold on 1 minute.
Am I muted? I guess I am. I don't know. John?
All right, my apologies on that. Yeah, so I guess he's just MIA today, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if I was muted or not, so I kept my mouth shut. I don't want to talk out in nothing. That's no fun.
No, you're not muted.
I want to add to what I was just talking about. That is, if you look at satellite pictures from NASA and reports, in Southeast Asia has become much greener after the Chinese Industrial Revolution. And why is that? Because the Chinese Industrial Revolution has in turn released more CO2 into the atmosphere, and the trees are thriving from it. And I have a major in biology, and I know how the ecosystem works when it comes to production to oxygen. And it's pretty simple. You have sunlight, you have CO2, you have water. That goes into the leaves of the trees, and a process called photosynthesis takes place, and that transforms or converts CO2 into breathing oxygen. And we have a man running around here on the planet, an absolute psychopath who wants to bring the CO2 content of planet Earth down to zero. Meaning, doing that, everything will die. Everything. No one will live. Not even bacteria. Guess what his name is?
Well,
you know who it is. He's one of the richest men on the planet, and he's a psychopath, and he wears glasses.
Yeah, he's pretty easy to identify. I'm sure I know who that is.
Yeah, he's so insane. He needs to be kicked off this planet and deported from our planet. Don't return. You can go live on Mars. There's absolutely nothing up there. You are off. You're free of your CO2.
Speaking of that, the World Economic Forum is starting to lose their marbles and get a little out of control. Like, I don't understand the kind of individuals that are getting appointed into some of these positions. You would think that the younger generation who is learning about a lot of these things, who are highly intelligent, that can see the reality of some of the inner working components of all of these things that are being discussed today, would be better appointed to some who are just getting fat and lazy, and who don't understand any of the working mechanics of the things that they're being appointed for. That's not how you deal with ongoing problems and situations. You actually need to appoint somebody that actually cares about what they're doing and actually resolving them. And right now, we're facing some, at first, let's look at this. We're in America, right? And America, America is a multicultural, multinational country, because pretty much the main consensus is, if you're running away from your country to come and live here, you obviously are coming here because you want to experience freedom and a better way of life of some kind, to leave the oppression that you must be under or facing in your current situation and condition. And if you notice that some of these places, like the World Economic Forum or the United Nations, well, how are they sneaking in to our country and trying to govern some of our rules? And when I see some of the things that they are saying and doing, if they're trying to have some kind of a say in doing something better for the world, well, they're not doing too well, because some of the plays that they are making are very, let's just say, not well thought out and very dangerous, and could be catastrophic to other people or, their countries or something.
Yeah, but that's on purpose.
Yeah.
It's not because they can't see and they're not intelligent enough, or they're blind or something. No, it's purposely done.
Yeah.
Because the only way you can bring down a sense of nationality, that is to create confusion and create this new voguism that we're dealing with. That's how you break the back of a nation and a group of people, and all groups of people. So those groups of people in turn are turning against each other instead of working together for the greater good. Well, I hate that term, but you get me, right?
Yeah. So hey, with what you just said, I just had this thing that just I don't know, just came over me, and I wanted to say something in contrast to that. I think this world is a giant conscious engine, and all of the people are the consciousness of this world.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, you've only got two things at the end of the day. Well, actually, you got three. You have good and bad, and then you have in between. And if you can balance those two, then you have achieve some type of ultimate perfection in your consciousness, awareness of everything, or whatever. You're going to elevate in some kind of a way, I'm assuming. But that's the thing, right? Right now, it's like, if we are the consciousness, then we're only fighting with ourselves, not meeting each other and bringing the balance of where we need to be as humanity, yeah, to be able to achieve that. So this perpetuated stuff that you're describing is never going to end until we can find a way to meet in the middle and bring balance and not have that fear uh, of I don't know how to say that any better than that probably right now. That there
Well,
needs to be like that balance of the yin and the yang, if you follow what I'm saying, the light and the dark.
well, I can say one thing, that is, we are all connected, no matter what race we have and no matter what faith we have. We are all connected to each other. Days before the 9/11 in 2001 took place, even the human resonance and other detection devices, they experienced a sink in vibration because the consciousness of all of us sensed that something terrible was about to happen. It was a negative frequency they detected. It was not a positive one. And then 9/11 happened, and then the frequency detection or the devices that is measuring these things, it went flatline, meaning people was already traumatized. The whole world was traumatized by it. Everyone was. Even I was. I was sitting in Denmark when that happened. I was freaking not happy seeing the second airplane hit the building. I was just like, oh, this ain't good. The first one I could say, okay, that's an accident maybe, but the second plane coming in and hitting the other tower, that ain't right.
Yeah.
Something is not right here. This is on purpose. Someone did that on purpose. And I was sitting plastered to the screen the rest of the day and watching all this crap, and I was just like, whoa, man, that is not good. I had a very, what do you call it, sunken feeling in my entire system after that. I was just kind of like devastated watching all this unfolding and know that people lost their life. And people are still dying from it today. Asbestosis. It's horrible. So, yeah, we are all connected. And this is exactly what I'm saying. They keep hitting us against each other to break that connection, because if they don't do that, they will lose control. And the only way they can do that is to instill fear. And I have said so many times for the last decade, I have told people, pretty much in every video, if you act out of fear, every action you take will become irrational. And because of that, you will become a danger to yourself and to others. And that is exactly what the evil spirits want us to do. They want us to kill each other. That's what they want, because they love death. And that's why these men that sits in power, the World Economic Forum, WHO and CDC and FDA, they all love death. They thrive on it. That's their energy. And it's black energy, it's anti-matter, to say the least. And that's how they're running the world, and that's why we are in this predicament we are right now, is because we're not listening to our heart anymore. We are controlled by inputs to our brain, which disallow us to get in touch with ourselves. And bottom line is, it starts with the man in the mirror, period. It starts with the man in the mirror. Because we all do bad stuff, we all do good stuff, but it still starts with you. What are you choosing to do? Are you choosing to be an evil bastard, or are you choosing to be a light in the darkness? That's what it all comes down to. And that's exactly what the media and the politicians and all these trust the science idiots are saying to us. To keep us in this perpetual state of fear. I see right through them. To me, what's going on is an open book test. Period. They can't say anything anymore that can surprise me. Or normal fashion. To me, it's just, yeah. You have fun with that. Because I know the other fact. And everybody actually, I want you to get this through your head. If you ask a question, if you are exposed to getting a solution to something, the first thought that comes to mind is the right answer. Not the second thought, that's the evil one speaking to you, but the first thought is the right answer because your soul speaks to you through the Holy Spirit, and your soul cannot and will never lie to you. Period. Because God is truth. The Holy Spirit is God, and therefore it's truth. Your soul cannot lie to you. It will never deceive you. Trust your soul, what it says to you. Filter out all that they're saying on the media, all the politicians. It's all a charade. It is to keep us in fear, and it is to bring us down into the dark ages. That's their goal. Our goal is to look at ourselves. What can I do to better myself? Because if I better myself, I have an aura of positivity around me that affects other people next to me, because we all connected. That's the path we need to go. And it's pretty clear in the Bible. I can say it again. Let all you do be done with love. 1 Corinthians 16:14. Go look it up. It says that. Let all you do be done with love. And if you're doing everything you do with love, you're never going to hurt a fly. And you're always going to speak the truth. And everything you do is a positive nature. It is never for self-service. You get me?
Yeah, that one's a tough one for many, because you have to figure out, like, are you in service to others or are you in service to self? But yeah, everybody's walking on a path. You know, everybody's got to make their discoveries. Yeah.
Everybody is on the path to something great, but they're listening to the voices in their ears, which they need to extinguish, because those voices in their ears telling them that you're not good enough, you can't do this, and Big Daddy's going to come and get you, and blah, 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 blah. Stop listening to it. Stop listening.
I'm sorry.
I mean...
Yeah, the Big Daddy's going to come and get you thing. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean... you know who Daddy is. That's the one that runs the freaking world into the ground, because that's what they're doing. That's their only goal. 7,000 people on this planet running our planet of 7.8 billion people into the ground, and we are letting them do it. That's the scary part, and it's already prophesied that they will succeed.
You know, if I had one thing to say, like on that note, like on that comment, it would be this. At the end of the day, well, actually, hold on. Let me back up here a second. So first of all, we have all this nonsense that's going on. At the end of the day, they have been, if you look at what everybody says anywhere in the media, whether it's the news or if it's other people that parrot information out there on the internet, they have come to the conclusion that they, as an American, are responsible for whatever is happening, and that's wrong. See, the real average Americans that are going to work every day and who are trying to take care of their families and just trying to do the right thing and follow like good, spiritual hygiene those kind of things, who are just, all about life and love and living, and, the experience of enjoying what life and, God, did for everybody is about. You have, where was I going to go with this? You have somebody that's in the positions, who are in this country, or anybody's country for that matter. All of the people that are sitting in the White House and in the Pentagon, that are making all of the decisions, whatever decision that they make, it's the only people that are getting punished at the end of the day are the average Americans that are hardworking, who are just trying to do the right thing every day. So at the end of the day, when we're getting punished, we're not getting punished because we made the choice to go and bomb somebody else's country. It are all of those people that are sitting in that building making those decisions. It's not us. We're not voting for somebody to go and bomb somebody's country. It's a bunch of people sitting in a building down the street in the federal government, who are making those decisions. It's not you and me. So if our president wants to go and nuke, Ukraine, whatever country is watching this broadcast, don't blame me as an American for that problem. It's those people that are in that building over there making that decision. It's them. It's their fault. So let me tell you, why I'm saying this right now. In the military, you understand the concept of a blanket party, and if you fall out of line in your group or whatever, your team, your platoon, whatever you want to put a name on it, okay? If you fall out of line in that,
collectively.
Yeah, who gets punished at the end of the day?
Everybody.
And when everybody's getting punished for it, what do? They go to the person who is instilling the actions on the team, and they make sure that he falls in line. Or it's he or she today, but they make sure that person falls in line, and they don't make that problem again. But here's what's happening. We don't have anybody in this country going to the source of the problem and making them pay for the chaotic destruction that is happening, that we're getting punished for. So the problem is that because something very tragic hasn't happened in this country yet, that nobody is getting the wake-up call to go and hold those people accountable for the things that they're doing at the end of the day. And when I say that, I mean when a nuclear bomb goes off on the West Coast or the East Coast, then when is America going to wake up and say, holy, whatever, this is not my fault. This is it's their fault,
It's too late.
Yeah, it's too late. It's too late for that. But people need to come to the realization really fast that at the end of the day, don't say that it's America's fault. It's not America's fault. It's not the average American's fault. It is the people in those buildings making those decisions. It's their fault.
It's bureaucrats.
Yeah. So, this whole war machine thing that's going on right now, there's not a single American that's perpetuating this war. It's the people in that building that's making those decisions that are perpetuating this war.
And why they're sending weapons for billions of dollars to the Ukrainian soldiers. Why are they doing that? That means that America is fighting a proxy war. They're participating in what is going on in Ukraine. They should simply just remain passive. If they want to kill each other over there, let them until they get bloody tired of killing each other. Why is that our problem?
Yeah.
Well, it's our problem because they have an agenda that is called New World Order, and it also profits them.
Yeah, think about it like this, and I've said this on the last few broadcasts too. What country is coming to liberate Texas from America? Who's coming to bail Texas out? We don't want any part of this crap. We want to just have our freedom and our independence, and we want to, be like real
Nobody
American.
wants to get involved.
Yeah, nobody wants to get involved. Who's liberating Texas? You know?
Nobody.
Yeah. But, there's like some little issue going on in Ukraine, and now, like, America, and somebody wants to go and,
that's
like.
so freaking important.
Yeah.
Let me tell you one thing, people. Ukraine had never signed the Declaration of Independence. They still officially belong to Russia. Putin is in principle not doing anything. He's reclaiming the territory to Russia. It's wrong what he's doing. I know that. I don't appreciate what he's doing at all, and I don't appreciate him moving around nuclear missiles in Ukraine. I think that is absolutely absurd in order to intimidate the rest of the world, because he's got a frantic idea in his head. But Ukraine is still Russia. They have never signed a Declaration of Independence. Lithuania and Estonia they used to be Russia. They have signed a Declaration of Independence. Therefore, Putin is not touching them, because that will not be a good thing. But Ukraine has never done that. And Ukraine is run by a freaking mafia, Zelensky. And if you think Zelensky, he's some kind of hero, well, let me tell you one thing. There was 3 counties or regions bordering up to Russia. They wanted to be part of Russia. What did Zelensky do in 2014 and 2015? He bombed the shit out of those people into submission. Plus, if anybody was speaking bad about him, he put them in jail. He even banned radio stations and TV stations because they were anti-Zelensky. Talk about a dictator. And people are making him into a hero of liberation of Ukraine. He's a gangster. Period. Nothing but a gangster. He even looked like a gangster. Look at how he's posing, like he's some bloody freaking hotshot. He's nothing but a gangster. Period. You like it or not, but I know the fact. He's a gangster.
I wonder if anybody can actually recite the creed, of the flag, I don't think I've seen anybody do that in like a long time. In fact, I don't even think I've seen that. I think they probably have destroyed that now. But,
that's
like
exactly
pledging
what
the
they want.
allegiance to the United States for the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. That's what I'm talking about. See, the American way of life is supposed to be about freedom. It's supposed to be about love for God, for, creation, everything, independence, like all of those good things, that way of life. And right now, you don't.
The Constitution ensures you complete freedom.
Yeah.
Complete. That's how it's written, to set every man and woman and child free.
Yeah.
Period. But what you say there about the pledge, what they have successfully done, especially in the schools, already in the schools, they are stripping the children's sense of nationality.
Yeah. Well, we know what's going on. I mean, you know what? Everybody, I'm sure, like everybody knows. Everybody can see it.
Yeah, and that permeate out into the entire culture of America, which it was based on freedom. And if you can't say the pledge anymore in the schools and hold your hand over your heart and truly mean it, already there you were saying goodbye, America.
Mm.
In principle, you do, because it's our choice to either bloody get up and stand in the classroom and say it out loud and defy them. That's all it takes, defiance. And we can win all this back by God and by civil disobedience. No, we ain't gonna go along with that. Sorry, you fired. Bye. We put you there. You work for us. We don't work for you. Therefore, you're not doing your job. You're stealing our money. You're bringing us into countless useless wars costing millions of innocent lives. You are fired. You are not doing what you were supposed to do, and that is to uphold the Constitution. Primarily, that's your first decree. That is, you are to uphold the Constitution. You swear an oath on the Bible that you will do so. That means when you're swearing an oath like Obama, he didn't even want to touch the Bible. It wasn't even the Bible when he was inaugurated. He was lying to his teeth already there.
Yeah,
and you're lying before God. And you're lying before your entire nation. And we know all these politicians, these rhinos in there, except a few, all of them have dirty nails. And they should be fired. And we have the power to do so. But when you're stripping the sense of nationality, when you're striking people with fear all the time, unleashing this and unleashing that, nobody's going to come together under the banner of freedom. No one. It ain't going to happen. Because people are reacting out of their fear. And that's why we see so much violence.
That is true. So I've got to get ready to close this one out. But like what you're saying, it's truth. And then if you think about what's gonna happen at the end of the day, we're all getting punished. Everybody in America who's in this country, who fled, who left their country to come here and experience this way of life, you've come to a place where we're all getting punished for somebody's actions that is sitting in a building down the street, making decisions that none of us collectively agreed on. The only thing that we agreed on the day that they came into office was to make sure that we're able to continue our way of life and balance some budgets, not try to destroy everybody else's country or their way of life. It's not supposed to be like that. And it's not supposed to be those people making those decisions on behalf of the American people when it comes to deciding who lives and who dies. It's just not supposed to be that way.
The punishment is also aligned with our inability to actually do something about the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. By saying I ain't gonna make a choice on that, you already made a choice there.
Maybe we should spin off a new parallel universe, and it should be like, anytime our country has a problem with your country, then the two presidents, they can just go get in the ring and fight. And whatever the outcome of that is, whatever the outcome of that is, them two people fighting, not the American people or the other people's countrymen dying.
Think about it. In the Middle Ages,
I don't know. I'm just
went out with his army and fought. John.
Yeah.
500 years ago, the king or the leader of the nation went out with his army and fought to death. Today, they just sit in some bunker somewhere and hiding, like Biden was hiding from the public during the election period. He never showed up. Right? Because they know he's a liability. He's not running anything.
Yeah.
Except he's running something down his pants that is stinky. That's all.
Yeah, that's funny.
He's not president. Someone else is running the show. Obama is one of them. Maybe Susan Rice is one of them too. He's not running anything. So, John, I know you want to close it out. But what we talked about today, I would say, that actually aligns with the title of this video.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, the world the world is yours. Whatever choices that you're making to allow these things to happen, it's the world you're creating for yourself. Yeah,
you see, you got a splendid intuition there. You already knew what the title would be, and we circled around it, and we put our freaking hot nail into it, and I hope some people are falling off the trees and wake up. Come on, monkeys, wake up. Become men.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can close it out. This one was good, I think it was.
Yeah, this was a
I
good,
hope the
this was a
listeners
good little
thought
rant
that
today.
too. How is the chat room? Is there any questions?
Well, I think everybody's been chatting and saying things.
Oh, they're just shutting up and listening.
Yeah, having their
Oh,
own
well, that's a good
conversations.
thing. Because you and I are the two smartest people on YouTube. You know that, right?
Yeah, everybody's providing inputs, but because Adam wasn't here today, he seemed to have fell asleep in his rocker probably.
Yeah,
Whatever
it's
it is
okay.
he's doing.
Well, maybe next time we will have some better luck.
Yeah, but many,
maybe you should shoot.
Yeah, many
shoot
were.
him a text and tell him to go to bed because we have a show tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Show some responsibility.
All right. All right. Well, I want to wish everybody a happy Friday, and hopefully we don't experience any cataclysmic events with nuclear fallout. And Henning, leave the rest to you, and then we'll close it out.
Okay. Well, so you said the title is "The World We Own This World."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The world is yours.
Yeah, the world is yours. Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. Well, I'll download it and upload it to my channel. That'll be tomorrow.
All right, sir.
So make sure it's visible. Send me the link so I can download it.
Okay. All right, everybody. Happy Friday, and we'll catch up with you guys soon.
Yeah. God bless you all, and God bless you, John. And Adam, God bless you too. Bye. Oh, there he is.
Did he just respond?
What the hell? Now he woke up. Too late. Sorry.
Where have you
the
been?
Ship has sailed.
Where have you been?
Don't embarrass him.
Okay.
He fell asleep. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right. Until next time.
Until next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.